I know you've already read quite a bit about the subject, but I'd like us to talk about a very important day, November 17th. When you look at the incredible impact the Theosophical Society has had on the world, it's hard to imagine that it all started with Madame Blavatsky, known as HPB, and Colonel Olcott in their small apartment that they called the Lamasery, and that the discussions around their table were already being reported in the newspapers.
Yes, Madame Blavatsky fascinated American journalists, and indeed Olcott and HPB shared an apartment in Manhattan, which was a small town next to New York at that time, and they held salons, regularly receiving guests. At one of these gatherings in September 1875, there was a presentation by a certain Mr. Felt, which really excited Olcott. He passed a note to Blavatsky saying, "Listen, could we form a society?" She agreed. She was in favor. So Olcott stood up enthusiastically, as he reports, and proposed to the group to form a society that would be a nucleus around which all enlightened and courageous people, the words he used at the time, could gather, those willing to work towards acquiring or spreading knowledge, true knowledge. His plan, as he reports, was first to form a library to collect all possible books around them, especially those related to the secrets of nature. He was very interested at that time in Chaldean philosophy and religion, and also Egyptian religion. So that was his central idea. He felt that the scholars of the time were ignorant of all this and wanted to make this teaching available to them.
And if I remember correctly, the name was chosen after much discussion. They found the word theosophy in the dictionary of the time, but Madame Blavatsky already knew it and apparently used it as a synonym for divine wisdom.
Yes, indeed, it's a word she knew. You know, in just 70 days, from September to November 17th, they set up a society with statutes and regulations and everything. Olcott was named the first president of the society on November 17th. William Q. Judge was named secretary. Madame Blavatsky did not have an official role, in the sense that she was never made president, vice president, or secretary of the Theosophical Society, but she was correspondence secretary, which suited her very well. Anyway, we all know she was the soul of the movement. She was at the heart of it all. On November 17th, 16 people joined the society that day. Most were Europeans or Americans who often visited Blavatsky. After that, there was a surge, an enthusiasm for the Theosophical Society. People joined, and the movement progressed rapidly. Like many movements, after that there was a decline. So much so that in the end, only 3 remained in the Theosophical Society. William Q. Judge, who himself had to leave to deal with family matters abroad. So in the end, HPB and Olcott remained, and as they often joked, the chandelier above their heads was their 3rd core member.
It's also said that, at first, fraternity wasn't really part of their concerns, as they all came from the same intellectual community with the same background. It was when the Theosophical Society began to attract people of different nationalities, different ethnic groups, that it became clear that fraternity had to be the pillar of the Theosophical Society. This led to the first goal of the Theosophical Society, to form a nucleus of the universal brotherhood of humanity, without distinction of race, creed, sex, caste, or color.
We can see basically, from the day of the founding of the Theosophical Society to now, it had to evolve. it grew, and now we're present in 58 countries. It evolved with its time. So over the course of 150 years, it adapted to the different realities that it encountered along the way. However, fraternity has always remained at the center of the Theosophical Society. So much so that some Theosophists were present at the creation of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and had an influence so that this declaration ultimately resembles the first goal of the Theosophical Society. But that's another story. We can talk about it another time.